friends, and welcome to another exciting episode of Snap Judgments. I am Nick the Greek. No, wait. I am Gunny. No, I'm Roy. Shit! Well, there goes our monetization. I am Glazer. At least I'm taking money out of my pocket. I am joined today by Gunny T. Gunny, how you doing, my friend?
Honestly, I'm a little sore. I did not cycle throughout pretty much all of winter because it's too cold, and cycling clothes are very skinny and don't provide much warmth. So I decided to start cycling again today with a 26-mile ride, and yeah, I'm sore. I'm feeling it.
I didn't cycle all winter or all fall or all
ever.
summer or all spring because that skinny clothes, if I wear that, no one's ever going to be able to cycle again. They're just going to cancel the activity for everyone.
I don't know if that's true. I'm not trying to cast shade, but there are a lot of large Navy chiefs that look like they're baking bread in their jerseys.
It's not the largeness. It's just like people are like, what is that shape? What is even happening?
It's like an amoeba riding a bicycle.
Exactly. Like it's horrifying. That cackle comes from the men who can't cycle for different reasons, because then the dog would just be dragged by the leash behind him. We are joined once more by Nikki. It's Nick the Greek Geek.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me back, Glazer. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Nick, how can our friends find you?
I sometimes stream at Nick the Greek Geek.
He hasn't streamed since last time, by the way.
That was what was it, 1 or 2 weeks ago? I can't remember now. Listen, time's a flat circle. I'm on Twitter. I'm in everyone's chat. Just find any of the Power On crew, and I'll be in their chat.
What is Time's a Flat Circle from?
That is from True Detective Season 1, the best season.
It's actually like a feature or something, but yeah.
Yes, it is.
All right. We are also joined by someone I'm super excited to have on, a first-time guest. It's one of my favorite people to hang out with in the community, even if it's always a limited time offer. It is Mrs. Wolf. How you doing?
Hi, Glazer. I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having me on the podcast.
Absolutely thrilled to have you. How can our lovely friends find you?
Well, that is the thing. It's not super easy to find me. So you can't find me directly. I actually stream on my husband's channel, Psychotic Wolf. And I do the dinner break. So he's a variety streamer, but I am exclusively Marvel Snap streaming right now. So you'll find me doing the dinner break on my husband's stream. And I'm not on any of the socials, but I do love to come and visit and say hi on people's chats. Same kind of thing like Nick. You'll see me dropping in, saying hello. And I do lurk a lot on often. We like to watch people on the big TV, as we say, in our living room.
So cool. I used to get to watch on the big TV, and now my child does not let me. Although he knows he loves Lambie, and because Lambie is in 8 cubes only now, he knows Kumbest, not Cambest, Kumbest. I'm like, it's Cambest. He's like, no, Kumbest. I'm like, dude, all right, whatever. So one more thing, there's one more thing you do that I just signed up for today. It's a really easy way to find you, and I think it's really cool, and we're going to link it in the description to this video and the pod thing. I just have to remember to yell at Roy to do so. How else can people find you? What's the other cool thing you do?
Yeah, so outside of being a part-time streamer, I'm a sunrise photographer, and my photography business is Wake Up with Gratitude. So what I do is I send a daily email, and in the daily email, you get usually a sunrise photo that I've taken. I live by the ocean. I live in one of the most beautiful places in the world on Vancouver Island. And you also get like a little mini blog, but you get a gratitude quote that sort of helps you just start your day on the right foot. So it's just something that I share with our community. It's from me as a real person. You know, my real name is Julie, and it comes from me directly. And that's just something I'm really passionate about. And, I was saying to Glazer, I understand the sort of pressure behind, not pressure, but like self-imposed pressure of doing something every single day for several years, because this email that I've been sending out, I have, not missed a day in almost 2 years now, of having a photo, sending a quote, writing a little blog, sharing that with my community. So I understand that. And thanks for letting me share it with the staff community.
Hell yeah. I signed up immediately upon you saying it. I'm going to obviously make as many people as humanly possible sign up, because this sounds fantastic.
Awesome. Thanks.
All right. So I'm going to run through these socials. Actually, Gunny, you got anything you want to promote?
Nope. Watch out. And wait, season 6 will be coming
there
soon.
You go. I'm like, yes, you do, dude.
Yeah, I just don't have a date for it yet. I need to lock on the dates for season 6, but the tournament should be opening up for signups within about the next week or so. And then about 2 weeks after that, we'll get season 6 dropped in for Snap Judgments League. It'll be fantastic.
So want to be mad at me?
Yeah, go for it.
I got a message from someone who reached top 4 today, and they were like, "Hey, are there prizes this season?"
Oh my gosh!
Because I apparently did a poor enough job at promoting it that people thought they were playing for free.
Nope, there are prizes. $500 prize pool for this season. We'll see what we come up with for next season. It'd be great.
Yep. And if you would like to help support our prize pool so it doesn't all come out of my pocket, please join our Patreon at patreon.com/snapjudgments. I did my taxes for 2024, and I realized that I, in fact, spend far more money on the Marvel Snap community than the Patreon brings in. So if anyone would be willing to check out that Patreon, it would mean an awful lot in terms of... thank God my wife hasn't noticed. In the meantime, we also release daily videos on YouTube. It's my bread and butter of... I find at least 3 new decks every single day. The Friday video is the 10 best decks of Marvel Snap. I go into ridiculous detail about everything. It is Snap Judgments Pod on YouTube. I tried to make it just Snap Judgments, but apparently someone else has that. So Snap Judgments Pod on YouTube. And PulseGlazer on Twitch, which I guess I should remember to advertise. I thought I was going to brand myself as PulseGlazer, but then I hated Pokemon. So I really just do Marvel Snap, so I should have just kept going with Snap Judgments. Oops.
Anything else? Okay. Something else may come along eventually.
Yeah, I mean, eventually I'll like another game, right?
I don't know, man. I've tried to. I mean, obviously, like other video games, I've played a bunch of Cyberpunk, but like I tried playing Pokemon for years. I played other games like Magic the Gathering, Pokemon. I did Yu-Gi-Oh! I did all kinds of stuff. Marvel Snap has fundamentally changed what I want out of a card game. I don't want to wait for my opponent's turn anymore. I'm sorry. I want a game to take 4 minutes.
Unless you're in Conquest.
True.
I play so little Conquest. I make sure I get that card every season. I'm totally done.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'm convinced the only reason they don't get rid of Conquest is there's like 70 people who only play Conquest. And they're like, but Interrobang will quit. And then they feel like they're stuck.
That's 100% it. It's Interrobang is keeping the mode alive.
Yep.
I only do it to get enough so that I can get the premium mystery variant and the mystery variant so that my community can do gambas when I go live. That's pretty much it. It's all about the gambas.
Oh my God. This isn't a topic today, but I'm going to bring it up right now. Those negative space variants for 700 gold are the biggest steal. I love them.
Really? No.
You don't like them?
Not my jam.
I'm all about them. I love negative space stuff.
No,
I tell you what. I opened the Thanos. If they made negative space stones, I would have bought it immediately.
No, that's not my jam at all.
Oh, I love it. Nick, break the tie.
The Iron Man. The Iron Man's good.
Iron Man, okay, yeah.
He's kind of
cool. I have like 5,000 Iron Man variants.
So many Iron Man variants.
Yeah, I know. I need more. I need an Iron Man variant like I need a hole in the head. But I don't know. They don't scream to me. But the thing is, I'm going to get them. Like, Glazer, you and I are in a situation to where we're 700 gold completes. We're just going to get everything no matter what.
Right.
So, like, cool, but...
I'm not.
Sure.
I only buy the season pass, so I don't spend a lot of money on the game.
Yeah.
So I'm very, very picky when I buy a variant. I have to really love it and it has to be a card that I'm going to play. So I actually almost bought the Konshu variant that was in the shop because I really like it. I'm like, oh, maybe. But I don't know.
I generally focus my variant purchases on the albums, to tell you the truth. Like
that's true. Yeah. Yes, I got 2,000 tokens the other day but I didn't even. I opened a mystery variant and got something in an album that gave me 2,000 tokens, and I was like, I haven't actually bought a single card in this album, and to get 2,000 tokens for free, I was like, this is a deal. That's like the steal of a century.
Yep.
Albums are like the opposite of mastery, right? Albums are just like if you play enough, we'll occasionally give you free shit. Mastery is like you can spend all the money you want, spend more, you get nothing. Have some bananas, you schmuck. I got my first gold since Mastery, by the way, and it was gold with bananas. You can't make it up.
Okay, Glazer, though, this is the worst. I think you might have been in my chat when this happened. I actually got last week on stream. I got a MODOK that MODOK has been avoiding a good split, and I got gold with Rainbow Kirby on stream live. But
I remember that. Yes.
Because they broke Kirby, you can't see it. So I'm like super excited, but not because I got a God split, but you can't actually see it. I'm like, second dinner, why?
But it'll be fixed eventually, right?
Oh, I don't know. Was it fixed in the OTA? Does anyone know?
They don't fix things in the OTA. It should be fixed.
Oh, right.
The April Fool's Day patch.
Oh, no.
Oh, God.
Oh, no.
Oh, God.
No.
The April Fool's Day patch will be the day of fixing things. Because just personal note. I don't know why we're rambling about this instead of getting to any real topics, but too bad. But personal note, when they release the new season and they're like, by the way, there was an OTA Thursday and there's also going to be a patch Tuesday. It's like, why do you hate me having any free time? Can we spread these out?
You get to make more content.
Yes, that's what I need to do. I need more content. This will be coming out on the same day as another video. I had 2 videos Thursday. I had 2 videos Monday. I'm debating a second video Friday. By the time this goes live, people will know if that happens or not. Yes, I need 14 videos a week. That's the goal.
No, definitely not.
All right. Actual topics that affect more than just me. All right. The OTA happened. Let's go through card by card and chat. So
I think there's some good changes.
Really? That makes one of us. All right. Let's kick it off with Iron Patriot. Iron Patriot is a 2/3 who has the exact same text as before, except now he gives -3 when he wins instead of -4. Mrs. Wolf, go.
We knew this was coming. You've been talking about it forever. We all know that Iron Patriot is definitely OP, and I think this was one dial they could do. I think this is not the end of the nerfs we're going to see to Iron Patriot.
Nikki?
It's a change. I don't think it changes much in the grand scheme of things. I think dropping the cost down by 1 it's definitely lower, but I still think it's going to be a crazily overpowered card, just like it was before.
One thing I really enjoy about Iron Patriot is how many toggles it has to move, right? So you could change the cost, you could change the power, and you could change the discount. So at some point they'll find a spot where it fits really nicely. I do think that 3 may still be too powerful, but it could matter, right? Getting a 6 cost that costs 2 it's ridiculous. Getting a 6 cost that costs 3 it's still really good, but it just won't necessarily fit into your plays as easily. So I think it's going to be effective. Again, if it doesn't work, they have more room to go, which is nice. I think that's a good thing. We may end up seeing a 2/2 Patriot at some point in time, but there are just lots of toggles. I'm glad that they're working on it. They know it's an issue, because realistically speaking, it's very hard to win a lane. I think that the problem is that Iron Patriot could be played on 2. The reason why that's a problem is you just pick a lane that you are hoping your opponent's not going to play in, right? It's one of the unrevealed lanes, unless they're also playing Iron Patriot, because we've all done that, played far right, and both of us play Iron Patriot in the same turn. But then on top of that, the strong 3 drops that go into that, especially Juggernaut, right? Juggernaut, Rocket Raccoon, Rocket and Groot, such strong plays to play into that same lane, just build into Iron Patriot being the dominant force that it is.
So if you get Iron Patriot has to be a 2/2, and it should probably be a 2/1, but they're not going to do that because it was a season pass, at least anytime soon. You play this in a lane. If you manage to get in a lane your opponent didn't, right? And then you just play Kate Bishop there. They need to play something 7 or more power to beat you on turn 3 in that lane. That's absurd. That can't be how this works. And that they continue to make it so while it's the most high variance card possible. You don't get to know what your opponent's doing. They could do literally anything. Iron Patriot is my least favorite design since original Arisham. An original Arisham was at least fun, right? Iron Patriot isn't even fun to me. It creates this really, really quick way to sorry, Wolf howled in my ears. It creates this really, really, really easy way to snap that I don't think benefits good play, right? I think it benefits just simple, fast games that don't take a lot of skill. I got that card in that location, and then I did this thing, and now you can't play decks that don't have that early game, because, they're just so likely to draw something that completely screws you over. It's just, I really, really hate the design of this card. I don't think this is enough. This is the one thing I really want them to change. I think within 2 to 4 weeks, we're going to be back here to nerfing Iron Patriot again. I think it's now clearly the third best of the big 3 cards. Sam Wilson, Galacta, and Iron Patriot. I think this does take it down. Like, I think it was slightly ahead of Sam. Now I think it's behind Sam and Galacta. So it's worse. It's just, it's not so much about, I mean, it's partially how good it is, but it's that mixed with the play patterns that I really, really dislike that make me not like it. As far as actual gameplay goes for the damn card, this change lessens the value of Shang-Chi a little bit, but increases the value of Juggernaut, because if you do get a 6, which is generally the highest value thing you can get, it can get discounted to a 3, and you can't play a 3 in Shang-Chi at the end unless Zabu, yada, yada, yada. We all know the ways, right? But you can play a Juggernaut, and Juggernaut's incredibly strong at the end of the game. So that does increase the Juggernaut value, and like, while I really enjoy Juggernaut, I'm not sure if I want a more Juggernaut-heavy meta either, right? Like, a lot of things, well, a Shang-Chi heavy meta is something people whine about, but like, you can play around Shang-Chi, I promise, right? Like, Shang-Chi is not a card that's not possible to play around. There's a lot of times where you just can't play Juggernaut. You watch the best players in the world, and they go, well, if they have Juggernaut, I just lose.
Yeah.
Like, there's not, you can't fill every spot, so Juggernaut's going to do the thing. Just, I don't know. I don't like this, and it makes me very upset. The rest of the OTA, I don't have like nearly as strong feelings on, but this one really bugs me.
There's only one piece I would like to pick off of what you said there, Glazer, which is it's very likely they're going to get something that screws you. That doesn't even actually mean the card, right? Sure, if they pull out an Enchantress and you're playing an ongoing deck, like that does really screw you. But legitimately having a 6/5 or 4 cost card that costs 3 less, just the amount of power you can get from that can be amazing. And that's the part that screws you. Like, it's almost any card. There's almost no bad hits. Like, obviously there are bad hits, but there are so few that at that reduced cost, it doesn't really matter. And the cost for it, the cost of playing the card there's no real cost to it either, right? It's a 2/3. That's good stats. It's decent.
And like, you're already behind on that lane. That's the challenge. It's like, you're already behind on that lane because they won that lane. So now you're behind on that lane, and then they have a discounted card. So you're sort of like, you're down in 2 ways. Now you got to like fight for that lane, or then you give it up, but then you know they have a discounted card. So I do think there is one other dial that they could adjust, which is they could change the number of random. They could like change it to adding only a random 4 or 5 cost card, right? That could also possibly be a dial that could be changed with this card. Right.
Although I think that might actually make it stronger if you only have those 2, because there's more bad 6 costs, I think, than there are 4 and 5 costs. I think so.
I don't know. Anyway, I'm just saying that the dial, like Gunny had said, the dials with this card, there are a lot of them, and I do agree that we aren't going to see the end of the changes to this card.
Next up, a card I hope we're done seeing changes to, because this is how she should have released. It's Galacta. She's now the exact same text, but she's a 4/5. Yeah, that sounds right to me. Mrs. Wolf?
I don't see any real need for the change. I know she was a little bit OP, but I'm a little sad to see her lose that 1 power. We all lose a lane by 1 power. But we'll see if it really does affect anything. The metagame, she is in a lot of decks. So we'll see overall what it does. I don't think it's going to have a huge impact, but I was just a little bit sad because I do really like the card. Well, I'll still use her, right?
She doesn't leave any deck.
Yeah.
No, I just like with Iron Patriot, I don't think it really changes. I think anybody that was playing Iron Patriot before is going to play Iron Patriot. I think anybody that was playing Galacta before is still going to play Galacta. A 4/5 is just as good. It's dropping a single power. At least they didn't make a humongous change to her. If they had raised her to a 5 cost, it would have killed her. So I'm glad they didn't do that.
Yeah.
I think they're smart enough to not do that. I think it's a fine change. I don't know if she was being used enough that she needed it. Probably she did. Honestly, I like the card, so I would rather have not seen her change. But yeah, I think this is a reasonable.
Like, were people complaining about Galacta? Sorry, Gunny, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I was just picking up from Nick. It's like, do you really like? Are you like, oh man, I can't believe they played Galacta? Like, oh, it's the worst. Like, you don't you never really feel like annoyed that your opponent played Galacta, but you're annoyed when your opponent plays Iron Patriot and you can't do anything about it. Whereas Galacta, it's like they played Galacta. Okay, well, like now I know what I have to do and where I can. It's not an annoying card, which is why I'm like, why did that need a nerf?
Presence and power level.
I don't know if Galacta.
Yeah.
I don't know if Galacta's impact is as immediately apparent.
Yeah.
So you'd have to view in-game states to see like, all right, what was the impact of Galacta? Because a couple extra power on a couple of cards just doesn't feel as impactful as maybe getting a really cheap 6 cost or something. I wonder if that's kind of why people aren't complaining about it so much. But so the point I have to bring, this is an excellent change, and here's why. I think we've said this on this pod before. I've heard it around, from other creators and whatnot. But anytime a card, you say it is a common thing. But anytime a card can lose or gain a power and it doesn't affect its play rate, then that's the correct thing to do. So if Galacta is still just as good at 4/5, then that was a needed change. If a card is, we're going to go to Pixie next, but if that 1 extra power makes Pixie playable, then that's a good change.
It doesn't. Galacta is... So what Galacta's text fundamentally should say is take a little bit of a hit on this lane in order to be ahead in the other lanes. Yeah. Right? And what her text said was take no hit in this lane and then just get this incredibly powerful thing to do another.
Very true.
A 4/5 is a little below rate, and you should have to pay something a little below rate to get something that could potentially win you to other lanes. That makes perfect sense to me. That's why she should be a 4/5 more than anything else. She's also one of the top 3 best cards in the game, right? Like, and part of what makes her so good is there's just like nothing to do on turn 4. There's so few good 4-drops in Marvel Snap on turn 4. It's absurd, and Galacta is like so far and away the best of them. Right, like they nerf Doom into Oblivion. You run Gwenpool because sometimes you don't draw Galacta. Like, it just, there's nothing else to really do on turn 4 that you would like to do. Like, you'll play like a Captain Marvel, right? But then like, JD McDonaldinho comes up with this really cool deck, the Sandman deck, that runs Captain Marvel and runs Ms. Marvel. And it's like, oh my god. Cam Best comes along and is like, we're just going to pull out Captain Marvel and put in Galacta. Lo and behold, the deck gets better. Because, like, it's so far and away the best 4-drop. Like, Iron Patriot at least has Sam Wilson, right? Like, there's at least Scream. There's at least, I don't know, Craven. There's other cards, things you want to do on, too. Certain decks want to run, like, Madam Web. There's Morbius. Yeah, Morbius. There's things you want to do on 2. What else do you want to do on turn 4? Like in almost any deck. Dracula, I guess, in some decks. And like outside of that, you're just like, I would very much like a 4-drop to play, please. And like so you just stick Galacta in decks. And like you should have to pay a little bit of a premium for that. It should be like I'm fine with it being the best. It just can't be the best and then like also just be like on rate for stats. That's a little silly. It's a really good nerf. And like I don't think it needs any more. I think, and we'll see what Kahori does to this, because I think Kahori, which we'll talk about next week, is going to be different. Kahori is +1 power for everything on your board for each card in your hand. So if you can get 6 cards in hand, she's going to drop 6 power on board in some random unpredicted way. It's the Kate Bishop best friend.
So cool.
I love that card. Any final Galacta thoughts? Are we on to changes that are disappointing almost entirely?
Let's move on to the disappointment.
All right. Pixie does not wear a tutu, but is a tutu. Mrs. Wolf?
I have no opinion because I do not own the card. She is always available in my shop for somewhere between $50 and $125. So therefore, I could buy her with tokens, but maybe now at a tutu, I should be purchasing her, but I think I'll pass.
Meh. I agree with you, Glazer. She needs to be a 1. I think it's a card that needs to be played as early as possible and sometimes as often as possible, because you never know what it's going to do. I honestly think this is a card that they should have changed to not shuffle, but what I think we've talked about this before. It's switching the powers of all the cards. That might make her too powerful, but otherwise it's just like, why would I play this card and not Mr. Nick?
Yeah, Finnan on the on our chat also mentioned that it needs to be a 1/2, right? And I agree with what Nick said there. The unfortunate truth is, though, that's not my play style. I don't like to randomize my chances. I would rather just build a deck to do the thing I want it to do consistently, and I feel like Pixie is a little too inconsistent for me with its effect.
Last week, my favorite Georgian that I've ever met, Ika. Also the only Georgian I've ever met, but be that as it may, my single favorite Georgian said, not only should it be a 1, it should not be allowed to, it should be swap, not shuffle, so it can't just switch with itself.
Yeah.
If you change those two things, it's a real card. As is, it's not. Like, it's cute that they did this, but I don't know where. But Glenn Jones somewhere said, like, literally a year ago at this point, we were going to make Pixie a 1/1, and then we decided to give it a little more time. A year later, they're like, how about a 2/2? And just like, I don't know, make the card a Series 3 if you're going to keep it useless, friends.
Yeah.
Like, this is not worthwhile.
Yeah.
Sauron is a 2/2, and I would pay good money to see Sauron in a 2/2. Mrs. Wolf?
I do think that this does have the potential to build a good deck and let that archetype actually be successful. I think there's going to have to be a little bit of playing to see if it actually, happens, right? Because now you have to draw Sauron early enough, but then do you play your Sauron or your armor on 2? Do you need the armor? You can only Shang-Chi 1 lane. So I think it's the right move. I think it annoys people like me who are just buying the season pass and passed on Starbrand, which was not a good card at the time. It didn't work. The deck didn't work. The stats were really bad. And we don't have the card because we wanted to save our resources for cards that have value. And so now we are I'm not saying that's an essential card for the deck, but it's a really darn good card. A 3/10 in a Sauron deck is extremely valuable. So that part really annoys me, but I'm excited for if it allows people to play, even maybe early collection players to play an archetype that we used to play all the time. Like, Sauron decks were fun. That was a thing. Like, Shuri Sauron was a thing. So does it, do we bring that back? Is it like nostalgia time? I don't know. I think we have to wait and see. I think we got to wait and see what decks Glazer has to share with us in the next couple days after the OTA.
Yeah, I think this is a very good change for the card. I think it's something that's been due for a while, and I think it does make Starbrand a solid card. And it's hard because people ask for recommendations. They say, should I get this card? And Starbrand was no, you should not get this card. This card is garbage. But how can you know that, okay, well, maybe a change is going to happen in, a month or less than a month that's going to make this card potentially incredibly powerful. Gregor was playing that today and watching the Sauron deck that he had. It is a much better card on curve on turn 2. Yes, it does ruin the ability to play armor, but then you just play enough cards that it doesn't matter. Again, you can't shine every lane, so you just play enough cards that get big enough that it doesn't matter. I think this is going to lead to a resurgence in some Sauron decks. I think it's going to lead to potentially Sauron decks that are fun to play. So not for me necessarily. I got so burnt out on Shuri. She was the first card that I ever bought in the token shop, and I got burnt out so quickly. But I think in a deck, the deck that Greg was playing today had Kitty and Elsa and Galacta and a whole bunch and Starbrand. So it was a fun deck to watch. I'm like, okay, that's more interesting.
I think we could see a Shuri Sauron deck. I think there's enough good cards that just allow for that to happen, right? You got Starbrand, you got Typhoid Mary, we've got Red Skull, right? All good cards to hit with Sauron. And then having it be a 2 cost, I think is actually a pretty cool thing, because when you draw it later, it's still a play you can make with something else, which could be important, right? You could play on turn 4, you could play your armor and then play Sauron or something if you draw that Sauron a little bit later. Because 3 was very hard to fit into your play if you didn't play it on 3. 2 is much easier to do.
Good take. Yeah, someone's going to break this. What I'm really worried about, though, is that the broken spot is just the stupid Scar deck. Where they're just like, what if I just play this on 2 and then I can run Juggernaut and Scar at the end of the game.
Big
like, I'm worried
ideas.
I'm worried that that's the right answer. We'll see. I hope it's... It's so sad that I hope it's Shuri Red Skull, which is also one of my least favorite decks. But, like, someone's going to figure out how this works. Like, big stats will work. I don't think this is necessarily the right meta. Although, I guess maybe this week is the right meta, because Konshu doesn't actually get that big. But, like, when people decide to play the good decks, right? Like the Scream deck, I think the top 3 decks in Marvel Snap right now are the Bullseye deck, the Scream deck, and then the Season Pass mishmash with Iron Patriot and Sam and Galacta and Shang and stuff like that. And all that stuff just, like, beats the Scar deck, right? Like, the Scream says you don't have enough power to do your thing. Bullseye says, I've got 70 power, what do you think you're doing? And then, like, Juggernaut and Shang-Chi are usually enough to beat that other deck, because Sauron says you can't run as much Cosmo and Armor, or you can't run as much effective Cosmo and Armor, which is how you would win that matchup otherwise. So, like, I don't think this is the right meta for it, but there's going to be a meta where someone's like, oh yeah, Sauron's a 2/2, and something good comes out of this.
What it was mentioned before, though, I do think early collection level players, this is a kind of a meaningful change. Like, out of that deck, obviously you couldn't, thinking about Series 5 cards,
just Starbrand.
You wouldn't have Starbrand, you wouldn't have Scar, but you still have Typhoid Mary, you still have Red Skull, you still have Ebony Maw, right? All good stuff to do early collection level. And now on top of that, this card is so much more playable for those early collection levels that draw like, for me, I had a Sauron before I had a Shuri.
Me too. Yeah. Me too.
I got Sauron as a Series 5 card, so, Oh my God.
R.I.P.
There is
especially considering how much you hate the play style too.
Yeah, well, like, it was back when you could... whatever, I don't need to tell this story again.
I know.
All right, Sauron will be good. And then the please buy Konshu change. It is Ghost Rider, who goes from a 4/4 to a 4/5. Mrs. Wolf?
Are we having a conversation about this? I don't even...
I have a thought.
You have a thought? I have no thoughts, because I don't play Hela, so then B, I don't use Ghost Rider, so then C, I don't really see how this is relevant. And I think it's exactly what you're saying, is like, buy more Konshu, we gave you a card, although I don't see a lot of Konshu decks playing Ghost Rider either, so I'm not entirely sure about this one. Those are my thoughts.
Next
Plus 1 power is good. Plus 1 power good. Card itself, I don't think it really changes too much. People didn't play Ghost Rider before. People aren't going to play Ghost Rider now. People in Hela don't play Ghost Rider. Him and first Ghost Rider are just non-negotiables that just aren't going to see, I don't think, that much more play. But hey, another extra point of power, it doesn't hurt. I don't think it changes anything.
I want to play this with Black Knight again.
Ooh,
it's not a bad deck.
Okay,
it's not a bad deck. It's close, right?
Well, there's a version that Cougar came up with that was running Eson, and like it was running name of card brain Emperor Hulkling in one of the 6 spots. Just take out Hulkling and like put in Konshu.
Yeah.
Because Eson will pull Konshu, and then you just sort of have like a free Doctor Doom at worst.
Yeah, I was messing around with the Husky deck that had Eson with Konshu.
Yeah,
that one did not go so well.
I don't think that was testing
that one out. I was
like, you can tell I didn't think it was good, because if it was a Husky deck and I didn't feature it, I was like, what the fuck are we doing here?
That is interesting, though. I would be curious to see. I ran Black Knight. Tucker had a list that a Black Knight list that he shared that I ran for a while. Like, I ran it for a long time. I liked that kind of discard. So that was a fun discard to play. You get your... that was back when Ebony Blade, though, was not destroyed and couldn't have its power reduced. Those were the days. Right?
Or what about the Agatha deck, right? The Agatha deck played Ghost Rider.
Yeah, that's true. That was a good one. I only played that for like a few days. I can't handle Agatha.
I didn't like it at all. This deck has this buff has actual upside. Unlike Galacta, who's trying to win other lanes, Ghost Rider is trying to win his lane.
Yeah. Fair
right?
enough.
Like your goal of playing Ghost Rider in a lane is to say, I am so big unless you can interact with me, I win. And every bit of pointing on Ghost Rider makes that a little bit truer. He's still below rate, but like he's getting closer to where like that's not necessarily the case. And like you want to be able to say, if I bring back what's a 6/10? Who cares? Call Obsidian a 4/10, doesn't matter. Yeah, a 10. If I bring back a 10, this is a lane that you have to actually think about. And the more power Ghost Rider has, the more that is true. So, like, I do think this matters. I don't really give a shit. Like, it's not my kind of card. But, like, it is a change that matters because Ghost Rider wants his lane to be won. And this helps his lane too.
Could also Ghost Rider and Grandmaster on the same turn. That could be fun, right? Like, there's a lot of good 2-drops.
Mm-hmm.
Bring Shadow King back, right? Like, a lot of good 2-drops that you can mix with Ghost Rider.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a lot of power putting into a lane.
The
first Ghost Rider definitely is not it.
First Ghost Rider is fine. It's not a bad card. It's not a good card. They're never going to give us like the free cards they're giving us in these modes. They like I feel like they took one look at Cassandra Nova and went, "Ooh, that was a mistake. We could have made a lot of money selling people that, right?"
I've already said
and they were
before.
like, "How about King Eitri?
How
about Lasher?
King Eitri's good.
King Eitri got
3 months
used,
later.
at least. I know, but at least people are using it.
Well,
So I said
Same with
this before,
Gorgon.
too.
Gorgon's been used.
The
and
cards
we've got
they
Laufey
release-
Index.
I think the cards they release for free are the uncommons, right? Your Series 4
Yeah.
and 5 cards, those are your rares and mythic rares and other kind of collection games. Whereas, like, how do you introduce new cards that aren't necessarily exciting? And I think for free is a great way to do it.
All right. Final OTA thoughts and review, Mrs. Wolf.
Pretty small OTA, but satisfactory in what we got, and I think it'll be fun to see a couple new decks come out of the few little cards that got touched up, but I think the top of the meta will pretty much stay the same.
Nick?
Yeah, I think very similar. I don't think there's much that's going to change in the top of the meta. I don't think Iron Patriot's leaving. I don't think Galacta's leaving. I don't think Pixie's being added in. But I do think Sauron. I think Sauron is the most notable change, and I think the one that may actually bring about something different. But I don't know if that makes me very excited. Yeah.
Jenny?
Yeah, I think they're great changes. Like, maybe they're not there yet, but they're affecting cards that are being used and then trying to affect other cards that aren't being used, which is always a good thing.
Yeah, I think I'm mostly bored by it, but it's hard to be too upset because next week the new ongoing meta comes, right? Like, the entire meta will be different come Tuesday because we get 2 new cards that both go in one deck, and there's going to be 10 million of that deck, and we'll see how good that is compared to old Iron Patriot, Galacta, yada yada nonsense. I don't think that meta is going to be healthy for Pixie, Sauron, or Ghost Rider to exist because it probably gets a little tall for them. But we'll see if the little nerfs Iron Patriot and Galacta end up being enough to make the ongoing decks, which get 2 new pieces and aren't far off now, better. Because Captain Carter, I keep saying Agent Carter every time I go Agent No. So Captain Carter and which is it? Goliath especially are just really strong cards. So like you add those to the metagame, now we have another thing to do on 4 that we want to do on 4 index, right? Like these kinds of things shake things up. And I'm for it. Also, we'll talk about it when we get to Konshu. We're going to review last season's cards. I want to try and rank them too, but like that's less official. I mostly just want to review this season's cards because everyone's really excited about the season, and I think it ended up in a really weird and interesting place, and thus I want to talk about them. Cool?
Cool.
All right, we're going to start by talking about the great Agamotto. Agamotto is our season pass card. He's a 5/10. Game start. Shuffle 4 Ancient Arcana into your decks. The 4 Ancient Arcana they have no power. The first is a 1-drop. I don't care what it's called. It draws Agamotto and gives him +3 power. It will also draw him if he is destroyed or discarded. Then we have the 2-drop spell, which is Watum, Winds of Watum, that chucks something to the right and gives it -5 power, and everyone cries about this one because it's very annoying, even though the next 2 are better. The third one is Ballsack, which costs 3 and gives you +3 energy. And then the last one is Images of Icon, which costs 4 and turns everything in one location into the highest power thing. And that is so far and away the best of the spells. What do we think of the great and mighty Agamotto? Mrs. Wolf?
Okay, well, you might not like this is a personal opinion, but I do think he's mid. I think that at the beginning of the season, I was super excited and I thought I went like kind of all in on Agamotto for climbing and everything. And I was like, this is it. I got to have Agamotto. Like, this is the season where I have to have the season pass in order to climb. It's, it's needed. And these Arcana are amazing. But I think at the end of the day, it doesn't quite work out as well as you think it does, because like you drop your ball sack for 3, but then like you used 3 to drop your ball sack. And then, you get 3 the next turn, but you used 3 and you've got nothing on the board. So it's like, did I really win here? I don't know. Like, and sometimes you get to turn 4 and you have nothing on the board. And you're like, I don't know what's happening here. I don't have anything on the board. And the opponent's got a -5 thing that I would-tombed over there. So sometimes it can get a little bit confusing. I think it's a good card. I think the deck building opportunities are there for this card, and I'm glad that I got it. But I think what happened was we've had these like crazy OP season pass cards, and this one it's a good card. And I think it's actually what a season pass card should be, because I don't see it getting nerfed anytime soon, and I don't think it needs a buff. So I think it came out as a good season pass card.
I think one of the cool things about Agamotto is that he feels like a new archetype. I wish he was better, but I think without card draw, I don't think there's any way that you can really improve. I think that's why Thanos is consistently at least a card that can come back into the meta. You can pull draws with him. His stones I think, I can't remember now, but they all do something that is impactful. Agamotto's, they all do something, but you're adding cards to your deck without a tool to get them back out. You pull Images of Icon. It does nothing to pull out more cards from your deck. Your Pulsec does nothing to pull anything out. All of these spells are really good, but because they don't provide a generation to get other cards out, it just reduces the consistency of him. I think if they did also pull stuff out, though, I think that would be really challenging. And I think this is where E-Tree comes in as absolutely a necessity to have in this deck, because it does give you that draw, even if it still doesn't make it that much more consistent.
I think this is an interesting card. It's difficult to play around sometimes. And honestly, I think Sam Wilson is what takes the... what is the one that makes copies of all the cards? Icon. Images, right? Images of Icon. I think Sam Wilson's the single card that takes that over the top. Coupled with cards like Galacta, right? It's such a powerful play on turn 5 to move your shield over to the Galacta lane, have had one other card there, and then you have 3 Galactas, which is pretty insane. And then I think Winds is honestly too good. -5 power and moving it, I think it can clog. It's quite a bit of damage to one of the cards. Like, I think it's really good. And it could just do quite a bit, but I don't know. Again, I think it does take deck building restrictions into mind. So it's a pretty good card.
At the end of the day, he's a little worse than Kate Bishop, which is probably really a good place for a season pass card to be. I think he's good, not great. I think he privileges gameplay. There's a reason like Derek and Roram and such were crushing with him. Because a lot of his spells aren't upside unless you use them really well. Unless you use them at the right time, right? Like, you might want to icon your Galacta, right? Or you might want to icon your Agamotto, and like then you have to really think carefully, like, are they going to run Shang? Are they putting a couple negative cards on one side of the board that it's better to turn those into like even 5 power cards than it is to get these giant power spikes? And considering that kind of thing is really important. The Ballsack spell's real power isn't that like you get extra energy, it's that you get unpredictability. It doesn't like when I play part of the power of Rock and Group, when I play, I don't know, Morbius on turn 3. Mobius. Can I just pick a different fucking 3-drop? Copycat on turn 3. Once that's on the board, you know how much power I have in what location. when I play Ballsack on turn 3 or 4, now all of a sudden I've like you're making decisions without information, and I have the information to make that better decision. I know where I'm putting my power. Like now I know you played Copycat here. That lane doesn't have that much power. That's a safe place to play my Galacta. I can now match your power there, and then I can play another card with that Galacta. I can play Gwenpool. I can play, I don't know, who cares? Captain Marvel, Ms. Marvel, something in another location to gain that extra power. And now I've got an advantage because I knew what you were doing, and you didn't know what I was doing. And having the extra energy to do that all at once is extremely strong. You do get a little bit of extra energy, which isn't amazing, right? The 4, if there were another really good 4 to play on turn 4, this would be significantly better. It's just, if you don't see specifically Galacta and Gwenpool, it's okay, fine. But that's where Icon comes in, right? Because, like, now you've got Sam Wilson, so you've got the shield, so you can Images of Icon to turn the shield into a Galacta, and things start to look better. And you start to end up with more power that way. Of course, you're getting up to power that way, right?
Not only
because
that,
Sam isn't getting it. Good.
Not only that, but there are just such really good 2-drops that allow. I mean, just looking at like Iron Patriot Juggernaut play, that 2/3 play, that you can then just turn those into Agamottos, or you could turn those into Galactas. Like that. That's where some of this power is really coming from. It's not so much the Agamotto card itself; it's the deck built around it that can take advantage of its spells.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be blunt. The deck Agamotto goes in is the good stuff deck.
Yeah.
Like, find a card that you paid $9.99 for and stick it in a deck with Agamotto, and you'll probably be okay. Like, it's like, I like Zabu and Iron Patriot and Sam Wilson and Galacta and Gwenpool. And hey, if you're not going to run some of those cards, you probably want to run Hope Summers. Oh, wait, I paid $9.99 for that too. Great. Like, it's good with all of those, and then like you don't run it, like, and then a couple like free or just tech cards, right? It's just it's a generically good card, but it's like a gameplay card.
Yeah,
it's just, you have to think carefully. Like, you can just chuck an Icon on turn 2, right? Not an Icon.
Wins.
Wins. You can just throw wins on turn 2.
You can't drop your ball sack
on
on 2, Glazer.
You can drop your ball sack on 2, ma'am. All you need is Quinjet. You drop it ball straight out of the jet. And then, you just sit there with 7 energy on turn 3, which is actually really nice.
If you want to drop your ball sack on 2, Glazer, I'm not going to stop you.
There you go. The 2 balls on 2. All right. In the meantime, though, like, you can drop your wins, which is the one I actually wanted, on turn 2, which you might do if you have nothing else to do and they have something decent that's annoying. Or you can save it for later to be more impactful, but now you need 2 energy. And there's a lot of give and take and push and pull with this card. And then, like, the sheer amount of times I've watched my opponent waste a Galacta buff on one of the spells, and I'm like, oh, come on. Like, I mean, great for me, but, like, it's a card that leaves you a lot to remember, a lot to think about, a lot to consider. And bluntly, there's a lot of time the juice isn't worth the squeeze, right? Like, because he's so complicated and requires you to, like, actually focus and think and plan, like, he's not necessarily good enough for that every single game. But when he works, he offers some, like, really, really strong power spikes. I wish Agamotto was a different body. I don't even know what different body I want him to be, but I really don't like him as a 5/10. I'd rather him as a 6 or maybe a 4 or something else. I don't know what. I haven't gotten that far. I feel like I know I'm supposed to be taxed by putting these cards in my deck, but I feel like if I run Eater, if I run Quinjet, I've got enough going for me that, like, I don't feel super taxed for that. I feel more taxed running Agamotto. I hate drawing Agamotto. Unless I get that stupid spell to draw Agamotto and I have nothing else to do, I draw Agamotto, I'm like, oh man, I got this shit in my hand. I don't want to play that card. Like, I'm not running a 5/10. And what deck am I running a naked 5/10?
Yeah.
Like, well, Thanos at least has the, like, I can't be killed, I can be played in a random location bullshit going for him now. Like, I have, like, very limited interest in Agamotto's body. Like, and I know that, like, they made him really good stats for a 5-drop, so I would have interest. But I can't play him on 5. I'm just like, you want to shine me there? Like, what am I doing with my life?
Like, I never want to play a 4/8. Would that make him better?
I don't know. Yes, but like I'm still just gonna play him with Galacta on 4 at that point, and then he's getting shot.
That's fair.
You can make him a 4/8, and then the spell puts him up to a 10, right? But like I don't know what I want him to do.
11 or isn't it plus 3?
11.
Yeah, it's plus 3. Yeah.
4/11, then
With,
Galacta.
Sean gobbles.
I know, he's just a target. He's a full-on target. I mean, look, even in his hand, it's like hit me here, Shang-Chi, right here. Boom.
Yeah, I like his wins. I like his eyes. I like the image of him. I just don't like the body.
Yeah, that's fair.
Still, like, for a season pass card, genuinely a home run.
Genuinely good, yeah.
It's interesting. I was looking at the stats on a couple different sites, and he's got less play this month than Firehair does, which is crazy.
Everyone thought Firehair was going to be busted. We'll get there. Let's get there. We got to talk about the 6/10 Eson. After each turn, put a card from your hand that didn't start in your deck here. Mrs. Wolf?
Well, I want to share my awesome how I got Eson story, which is so amazing. So I am not collection complete. I'm missing about 12 cards. And I kind of spent the first week of the season still playing the Sanctum mode. And unbelievably, I rolled for 2 cards. My first card was Galactus, because I didn't have Galactus yet, believe it or not. And my second card was Eson. I couldn't believe it. I got Eson from Sanctum mode, which is unreal. So I got the card. And I was so excited. And then...
That was it.
And that was it. That was it. And that was it. I tried him in a bunch of different shells. I even played Airshim for a little bit. I tend to play Airshim. Like when I get tilted, I just like play Airshim because I'm tilted. That's like my go-to. I know everyone must have a go-to deck when they're tilted, right? Like mine's Airshim. So I would try it with Airshim. And I just found that like if you generated like a MODOK and you play your Eson on 5, you lose your hand. Like so many times, like there was a card that I didn't want Eson to pull, but I didn't want to play the card either. And then like I didn't want to play Eson. So I'm not upset that I have Eson, but I am glad that I didn't spend tokens or open cash for Eson. So that's my thought on the card. I think there are good deck building options with it. And we've seen people trying it with Konshu. So I think it's a good card to have in your collection, but really glad I didn't have to use resources for it.
Eson is an interesting idea. I know everybody was like, oh, he's just going to be the Airshim card. And I can actually say I haven't seen the least amount of Airshim in the last little bit. Mm-hmm. And I don't think... I think because of the randomness of it, I don't think it really worked in that respect as much as we all wanted it to. I think he's just kind of he hit and he kind of thudded. I think there's some potential for some interesting decks going forward, but at a 6/10, unless you've got energy ramp, you're really limited on where and when you can play him. And I don't know. It's the coolest play that I saw was your play that was clipped for the Eson experience, which was, having the 3 of them pulling more East, like that was about as cool as it got. But yeah.
Eson's been fun for me in high voltage.
Huh?
That's it. Getting to play Eson on like turn 2 and generate cards and whatnot. Like I have Nick Fury in the deck. It just does some stuff.
So Eson is genuinely terrifying in one lane if you don't have Shang. Right? Like if Eson gets played against you and you don't have Shang-Chi, you just go, uh-oh. I should, like, it feels almost like they played a Dracula. Like if the feeling when they play Dracula in discard, you're like, well, that's a lane that can have fun. Let's have an answer. Like that's your lane now. Enjoy it. And like I'm not playing shit there. Like that's just dead points. Eson feels an awful lot like that, even if he's not quite that. He feels like that, which is pretty cool. The problem is he's a 6/10, so he's both vulnerable to Shang, and you have to do a bunch of extra legwork to play him, and that's not really a great combination. Like, if I could play him on 5, and even if he got Shang'd, I'd feel okay. Right? But, like, that I have to do work to play him early to then watch him die sucks. I think that's part of what makes the potential Konshu combo so good. Because if he does pull Konshu, that's putting power in his lane and another lane. which is extremely strong. Part of the weakness is that like you play him, and then like how else do you get power anywhere else? Because he's so expensive. I don't know if that's the answer. I do like him more than I thought. Like I like the design. I just think he's you only ever run 1 6-drop in a deck, maybe 2, and like he's like the 6th best 6-drop. So that's kind of a problem. Like he's not better than Magneto, he's not better than Red Hulk, he's not better than Gore. So like he's not better than Doom. So where
he's not a better generic 6-drop, right? You have to build a deck that can take advantage of the extra card, whereas like the ones you just mentioned are generically good.
The problem is you're almost always getting a random card, and a random card like, and even if you get like, let's say you like hit a home run and get a blob, right? Like you're just sitting there and going, you know what this lane looks like would be really good to do? Shang-Chi. Because I don't know if you know this thing about power. Have you heard about power? It must be controlled. So, like, in a really heavy Shang meta, he's always going to be limited. Like, I think he might be better as a 6/9, but I don't know if he can be a 6/9. Because then how do you counter him? Except just go, oh, no.
Maybe a 6/9 ongoing. Then you can at least do something with him, but yeah.
Sure, maybe.
I don't know. Just play him in a lane with Cosmo.
Yeah, I mean, but then you're trying to pull things, and what if you, like, the random shit you generated is an unreveal?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, you pull one of Agamotto's spells, and you're just like, oh, man. Cosmo was there. I didn't even get power.
Yeah.
Like, it's really, you can play him in an armor lane, but, like, we're doing a lot of work for this card that doesn't have the payoff to make it worth it. Like, I can play other cards if I want to win a lane in Marvel Snap.
And I really enjoy card generation. Mm-hmm. I do. Like, it's a style of play that I really enjoy. So I was really excited to get the card. And I guess it doesn't quite feel like it has the home yet. And I wonder if it's it's a 6, right? Does it need to be like a 5, 7, like something, so the card itself doesn't have the power, but it, you can play it on 5, so it can pull 2 cards into the lane. So don't give it the power, but have the power to bring 2 cards into the lane instead of just the 1, right? Maybe that's where it goes, and then it's less of a Shang target, but it doesn't have as much power just on its own. So then you're really there's a lot of sort of haphazard as to what you're creating.
I just think 6s are hard to make.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they're either too good or they're just don't exist. Like, they made the 2 perfect 6s, Magneto and Dr. Doom. And then they're just like, what else do we do at this cost slot?
What you got against Zola?
Nazi television, no thank you.
Yeah. Fair enough.
I already get enough of that. I live in America. All right. Gunny's not allowed to laugh at that. All right. In the meantime, we've got Starbrand, who is a 3/10 ongoing. Your opponent has +3 power at each other location. Mrs. Wolf?
I kind of shared my thoughts on Starbrand earlier, in the fact that it was not a good card when it first came out, and now we've just received an OTA that makes this card definitely more relevant, and it's probably a better card now. Not something I'm sure we're not going to recommend buying it with tokens. There are much better cards that we want to purchase with tokens at this time. I will say, when you get Starbrand from X Mansion, it kind of ruins your game. So in that way, it's a terrible card. That's all I have to say about Starbrand.
Mm-hmm. Again, big card. It works in the Sauron shell, and I think that Sauron shell is much stronger now. I still think he's an okay card. I know there was a lot of talk about, okay, well, we can take care of him with 0, or we can eat him with venom and all of this other nonsense, but it's a whole lot of work. At a 3/10, he's still quite sizable. If you have to Enchantress him, that reduces his benefit significantly, because you're having to spend a 4-cost card in order to cut off his power. But I think he's got a better place right now than he did previously. That's for sure. I still don't think he's worth spending the tokens on, but I think he's a better card.
I think this card is somewhat overlooked. I do think it's boring. It doesn't really excite me at all. But one of the things you can do, especially in like your 10s deck, is you tend to win 2 lanes really well. So if you're doing that, then you're really only giving 1 lane plus 3 power. Like the other lane just doesn't matter. So you beef up and you go to the moon on 2 separate lanes and just deal with the 3 extra power. But then you're also getting the benefit of it being a 10 cost for Scar and for Surtur. I don't even think you really need to deal with the plus 3 power. Like if you can, that's great. But I think you can get around it.
Yeah, I don't know. This card's gonna have its day. I think that like what part of what makes this season so interesting to me is that like Agamotto is good now, but like this and Eson, and we'll continue on, are cards that will have their day. I think they're gonna release something that like maybe they did, maybe the Sauron fix is it, right? Like, but something the 3/10 is too much number. Eventually, it's gonna have its day. A 6/10 that can auto win a lane is too much number. Eventually, that's gonna like have its day. I think Starbrand is a card that's really disappointing right now. I see this month as a month that a lot of people skipped cards that they're going to look back at and be like, oh man, I can't believe I skipped that. That's so good right now. And I truly expect that to like continue to go forward. Let us continue to Firehair. 2/3. When one of your cards is destroyed, this uses that card's on reveal. Mrs. Wolf.
This card is really interesting. I know everyone was super hyped for it. I was like, I actually really didn't quite understand how the card worked. I have to say, I didn't quite get it at first. And I found that the card worked super well when we had hot locations that favored the destroy sort of mechanism. The card worked incredibly well. And I found those decks were pretty awesome. So I think that there's potential for this card to be really awesome. A couple things that I ran into was hand space, right?
Mm-hmm.
Too many demons, too much stuff coming back into the hand. And I find too, going against Firehair decks, there's like the mill Firehair deck, like I still seem to be able to beat them. It doesn't really matter what I'm playing. I don't see those decks winning against me. I'm not like, oh man, the mill Firehair is beating me again. Like I just don't see that happening. I like the card though, because I like the destroy archetype and I liked the opportunity to try to play destroy in a different way. So I'm not particularly gifted at deck building, which is why I listen to. So I mentioned earlier that I do the sunrise photography, and I send out a photo every day, right? So I go to the beach every morning. I drive to the beach to go for the sunrise. Well, what do I do on my way to the beach? Is I put on the pod. I put on Glazer every morning. I listen to you on the way to the beach. So I'm always, listening to these decks to find out what's new, what's going on, what's in the deck. And I'm just always really curious to find out how people are using the new cards. So this card to me, I find very interesting. And I was very excited to get it because Destroy is an archetype that I really enjoy. And I like experimenting with new ways to use an archetype that I enjoy.
I think Firehair has a lot of potential in the future. Right now, I think she's okay. In the future. I think right now she's an okay card. I think it's a cool card. I like the mechanic behind it and I like how it plays. But like Mrs. Wolf, I am not a good deck builder. But I'm probably a worse deck builder than you are. So I will let someone else come up with a really cool deck at some point. I wish, and I understand they changed things like Yondu and I keep forgetting the name of the location that now banishes a card.
Yondu
I know
location.
they changed it. Sorry?
The Yondu location.
The Yondu location.
Hmm?
I kind of still wish they both did what they did initially, but I can see that being really, really problematic with a card like Firehair. I think she's a cool card. I think she was very overhyped, but I think a lot of times, like with a card that's coming up, you think and you can expect one thing, and then you actually get into play, and it's something completely different. And I think that's kind of what happened with Firehair, is it just didn't provide enough juice for the squeeze.
I think Firehair is Grandmaster 2.0.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
I do think at some point in time there's going to be a deck that comes out. Firehair is going to be a linchpin for it, and if you don't own it, you're not going to be able to play it.
Mm-hmm.
But then the meta will change, and you won't be upset that you still don't own Firebrand or Firehair. Excuse me.
We can combine those two cards. It's got a few problems, right? Like the hand space thing is real. The fact that it's a 2-drop, while like so are Iron Patriot and Sam and like all the best cards in the game.
Yeah.
For basically any deck you want to run it in, there's other 2s that you'd rather play. But you have to play it if it's going to have its effect, and then it just ends up really awkward. Like if Iron Patriot and Sam didn't exist, I'm very curious how Firehair would have landed. But like with those in existence, they're better. This might be the new Grandmaster, but to me, this feels a lot like War Machine, where everyone went crazy over the theory, and then the practice was just like, oh. Like I don't think it needs a huge tweak to be good, but I think it'll eventually get there. It might be more cards. Who did Gio? I was talking to Gio about Firehair the other day. Gio, former #1 player, Italian meta, yada yada yada. Genuinely, and he's like, Firehair is such garbage. I'm like, you're completely right. Firehair is garbage. And I was like, we've been playing since launch, right? And he's like, yeah. I was like, remember how Rockslide and Black Bolt were the worst cards in Marvel Snap? And it's like, yeah, Rockslide and Black Bolt were freaking terrible. They were completely unplayable garbage. They were like, oh my god, please buff them, do anything. And then they released Stature. And then they released Darkhawk. And all of a sudden, these utterly useless cards are just these like powerhouses that are in the meta, the very best of the decks. And like, we know, or we data mine know, we snap zone/fan know, right? Like, unless they change it, we know that we're getting 2 destroy cards in April.
Yeah.
Elixir says a card you destroyed, bring it back here. That seems pretty good with Firehair. I don't have to do. I don't know what just happened. I think either Alexa talked to me or my wife sent me a message. I don't know what. So I'm going to finish this thought, and then I'm going to try and figure that out, everybody. So, yeah. I'm going to message my
Firehair
Thank you.
I think the Firehair issue, whenever I was comparing it to Grandmaster specifically, was that like something else can come out that makes this card really, really good, right? And it's the same thing with Grandmaster. If there's ever anything that can, a new card that comes out that can break Grandmaster, immediately Grandmaster's really good. And that's the same thing with Firehair. If something comes out that is really, really good with Firehair, then that's going to be a good thing to do. I just don't think the time's right now. And is it coming? I don't know. So
Wolf reminded me of a crazy, ridiculous interaction that happened. I was playing actually against a bot. So I had Firehair in one lane and I was destroying in another lane, and the bot had Prio, and the bot sent me a green goblin. So I destroyed, including the green goblin. And where do you think Firehair went to the other side?
Oh, man.
That is terrible. That interaction is terrible. We didn't mention, you know what? It's totally off topic. So there's something about Iron Patriot that I wanted to ask about, and it just came into my head. Okay, it's totally off topic, but it reminded me of this glitch with Firehair with Iron Patriot. So if this thing really bothers me, and I reported it twice as a bug, if you win your Iron Patriot lane and your opponent has Mobius on the board, and you Red Guardian their Mobius after, your card does not change. You don't destroy, right? You don't lose that. It doesn't go down in cost.
Correct.
So I thought that was really weird, but this is even more strange. It was on turn 3, and their Mobius actually was on Oscorp Tower, and it ended up switching to my side. And same thing, the Patriot resolved first, and the Mobius then came to my side, and I still didn't get the discount on the card. So the way the Iron Patriot thing resolves, I think, is sometimes really frustrating, because it's like,
good,
I should have the discount, but I didn't get it. But it's just the way that it resolves, right? So weird. I was just, I didn't know. There
should be no discount.
But why not?
So my logic is, and I don't know if this is a bug or not.
It feels like a bug.
I don't think it's a bug.
No?
I thought it was a bug, but like then I didn't see it reported as a bug anywhere, and I usually have my ear pretty close to the ground.
Okay.
Chat will yell at me if I'm wrong here. Okay. But my logic here is that there's an instant where that Okay, it wasn't my wife. That's convenient. Alexa just freaked out then. Okay. So there's an instant that reduction takes place.
Yeah.
And if it's canceled, then the reduction would have to have another instance to take place.
Right. So it's like a one-time thing.
Yeah, I think that's the logic of it. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's
feels
the
like
best
a bug
I got.
to me.
It feels like my no. It feels like my no prize.
Yeah, it does feel like a bug though. It's like it resolves, and then the Mobius is now on my side, so I should have the discount anyway. It is an interesting thing.
It's the same, according to Dragon. It's the same way that Luke Cage works. Where like you don't get the later. Like if you play Luke later, it doesn't remove it. So,
I think
it feels fine to me.
There's no definition behind it. Like there's no explanation behind it. It's like with Shadow King, it makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. Right. I didn't know if anybody else came with that. We can move on. I'm sorry, that just came into my head when I was thinking of weird bugs. We'll continue.
I don't remember what I was saying about Fire. Oh yeah, Elixir and the other card, Quinton Quire. So if I can bring back the card that I destroy with Elixir, all of a sudden Firehair looks a lot better, right? Like now I just need Iron Patriot, right? I play Iron Patriot, I get the card, I destroy Iron Patriot and trigger Elixir, and I get 2 more cards. That feels like it's pretty good. I can also do that with oh my god, I keep losing the name Quinton Quire. I'm so sorry. I can also do that with Quinton Quire, who's a 2/2 activate, destroy the next card you play, add its power to this. So like I can do that with cards that have actual power, like a Cassandra Nova. And now I have an extra trigger for that. The problem is that's another 2-drop. And it's an activate, so it's a 2-drop that I can't immediately use. Like, there's just some weird, funky cost-related stuff and space-related stuff for this. Maybe we need to be running it in Magic decks, and we're doing that wrong. Like, it makes your Magic more likely to go off. You can't just get it stormed, right? Like, they'd have to have Legion. Because, like, you play Magic in one lane, and then you kill it. And then Firehair becomes Magic, and you have 2 Limbos. But, like, there needs to be something here that we're missing. Like, whoever added Luna to the deck at some point, probably Derek. That sounds like Derek. Added Luna to the deck. Like, that's really good, because this deck is just short energy. Like, it's short time to do all the things it wants to do. And when it can do the things it wants to do, it's powerful. It just needs a little bit more of the stuff it really wants to do.
Yeah, and I don't think you could drop this down to 1 cost either. I think that would just be way too crazy.
No, too much.
Yeah. All right. I think we only have 1 card left. And it's... Oh, no, we have 2 cards left, because there's also our Volti.
Oh, yeah.
It's Konshu. I'm not reading all of Konshu. You discard him, and then he gets bigger, and then he brings back something that's bigger. He starts as a 6/5, becomes a 6/8, not 6/7. I just forgot to update the text. And then becomes a 6/12. Each time he brings back something bigger. If you discard him when he's a 6/12, he's gone until Hela or Ghost Rider bring him back. Or forever, as the case may be. What do you think of Konshu?
I think I am like you, Glazer. I really enjoy classic discard. I don't enjoy Hela discard. I have a really gorgeous classic destroy deck, and I have a really beautiful classic discard deck. So these are my like comfort archetypes. And I had fun playing Konshu. I put him in a bunch of different things. And I think that, does he make these decks any better? Probably not, like you said this in this morning's video that I listened to.
Oh.
No. But I think there's some, discard decks are often really dependable and reliable, which is probably why I like them. But I like, when you throw a Konshu in there, it's like it adds this little bit of like, I'm not really sure what's going to happen and where that card's going to end up. And I've definitely lost some 50-50s, but then I don't feel too bad about it because it's like, it's only a little bit of unpredictability, which I'm okay with. I don't like the like total random. That's why I don't play Hela. Like I can't stand that like do nothing, discard, and stuff just goes everywhere. And you're like, who the hell knows what's going to happen? That's not my kind of play. So I think that we're still so early in the experimentation phase. If you enjoy discard of any type, it's a card you want to have in your collection. It's definitely better than a Silver Samurai, dare I say.
Well, so is the first Ghost Rider. It's like, would you like to play double to discard their weakest thing? No, I would not.
There you go. Exactly. So I'm happy to have it. I love the character too. Like for me, actually, it was a big thing. Moon Knight was one of my favorite shows. So I'm just actually super pumped to have the character. So I'm a big fan. I think this card will age well. I think we're gonna, again, I like exploring different ways to play archetypes that I really enjoy. That doesn't include a Hela.
And the funny thing is, I think this is the card that right now probably works best in a Hela shell.
No.
I think it does. I think it's the strongest in Hela because otherwise it's just so, I think awkward is the best way to describe it. I tried it with Corvus. I tried it with the Eson deck. I tried it mucking around with a whole bunch of different things. And either you don't draw the card or the whole thing is just not consistent enough to make it worthwhile. Like it for the first time really made me look at this card and go, wow, this is really inconsistent. And the thing you want with this card is you want a level of consistency. You can't run Swarm in there because he might bring back a Swarm. And sure, he might bring back 15 power Swarm, but it never felt good to me. It never felt like it was the right time to play it. There was always something else that I would rather play on 6.
I really love this card, and specifically because I don't play discard. I am a huge fan when a card comes out and says, if you like this style of play, buy this card. If you don't like this style of play, then you can skip it. And historically, discard has been that for me. I do realize that discard has been very, very powerful. It is still powerful, but I just don't own some of the discard cards for the deck. And I just like whenever a card comes out that says, like, you can skip this if you want to, whereas cards like Iron Patriot aren't, right? You have to have those cards to play a lot of different decks. I felt the same about Rocket and Groot. I had to pick that up with tokens because it's just in so many decks. Whereas cards like this specifically printed onto it. Do you like this style of play? If so, this is a decent card for you.
Yeah, I'm really, really, really curious if the version of this deck that's like a small package works down the line. It can't work while everyone's playing discard because it's really weak against other discard. But like it could be good at some point. Right now, this goes in Bullseye and this goes in Apocalypse. You play it in those two decks and like it's really good. You don't have to have it for those two decks, but it's cool and it offers an extra way to win. I don't know. I really like it in Apocalypse discard. I haven't actually tried it in the Bullseye deck because the Bullseye deck bores me. I think the Bullseye deck is the best deck in Marvel Snap, and it's really hard for me to play what I think the best deck in Marvel Snap is. Like, I almost never do it. It's very, very hard to make me do that. And, like, I'm pretty sure Konshu is at least as good as that deck would be otherwise. I think replacing Meek might be worse than replacing Scorn, but time will tell with that. That's, like, a later concern. For the time being, though, like, the card is good. And it's interesting, and it's different, and it's weird. And I don't know. Like, I think this is almost like it's not as good as Agamotto. I think Agamotto was a home run. But this is like a double off the wall. This is a really, really good design. I would not have before the season had this as my Spotlight card of the month. But I think it's my Spotlight card of the month. This is the best card they released in Spotlights this month. I think I had it last at the start of the season.
Interesting. One thing to pick up on if you're having trouble against these Konshu decks, are you going to showcase the Ika Supergiant deck anytime soon?
No, because I don't think are people having trouble against the Konshu decks?
I don't know, but what I'm getting ready to say is that I think Supergiant is really good against discard. Turn 5 is very important for discard.
Not for Apocalypse discard.
Yeah, or less with the Konshu, honestly. Yeah, it's been less.
You're trying to do so much on turn 5 to set it up to make it better. I do think that that Supergiant is pretty good against discard.
Apocalypse discard half the time I play is either MODOK or Dracula. And like I don't really okay, that'll reveal when it's ready. Thanks. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter to me. For Dracula discard, it messes up the Bullseye pretty bad.
That's what I mean, right? Like I just think that that Supergiant is pretty good.
Yeah. I think most people, though, and I say this as someone who struggles with it, play against or play with Supergiant. I think Supergiant is another one of those cards that's a high skill count card that requires you having a fundamental and strong knowledge of how that card works, and confusing as far as I think most people.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, you're playing things like Negasonic Teenage, you're trying to maximize your use of the unrevealed cards. So that could be true. Mm-hmm. And how many people own Supergiant as well?
Series 4. Mrs. Wolf?
I was going to say, so I mentioned before we started the podcast that I just had fun putting together a little deck that's a Victoria Hand card creation Konshu deck. It's like kind of fun for Conquest. I'm just trying to figure out the like discard. It's got like Collector and Helicarrier and Konshu and some discard bits in it. So like I just think there's a lot of different ways you can use this card. And then it's like the thinking about like you're always careful about what you discard with your blade, but it's like with Konshu, you don't have to be as careful. And so it's like thinking differently about how you're discarding is part of the thing as well. So I think it's just a different way of thinking because you can just discard willy-nilly with your blade because if you've got Konshu, and even if you only discard Konshu once, you can bring that whatever you discarded with your blade can come back with that Konshu at an 8 power. So, and don't like I brought back, you bring back a 5 power swarm and you've got Victoria Hand on the board. Well, it's actually a 7 power. So there's like little things like that I think this card just gives us. I just think we just haven't had enough time to really figure it out. And like you said, it takes time when we're playing so many mirror matches or everyone's playing different kinds of discard that it'll come to a place and some really good decks, maybe not top meta decks, but some good fun decks will sort of work their way up and Glazer will tell us all about them and then we'll get to play them.
Just play Apocalypse discard for now, you'll be fine. But yeah, Rora messaged me last night, like, I think I was asleep. I was either asleep or about to be asleep. Where he goes, I was wrong, Konshu's incredible. And I was like, what? He's like, if you discard this once, it's more power than Doctor Doom. And I was like, I mean, I guess that's true. It's just you're taking a 50-50 for it, right? But like, that's fine, ultimately. On ladder, in Conquest, I don't know if I'd want to bring that to a tournament. But like, in ladder, take 50-50s. 100% of the time. Like, if you're gambling on those 50-50s, like, and you're snapping at the right times, you should win more games than you lose. Win more cubes than you lose. You should win and lose the exact same amount of games. So if you is. But you should gain more cubes through effective snapping at that point and sticking in. And people will just run not knowing X, Y, and Z, right? And then you end up cubes because that's how cubes work. Like, I don't know. I think Konshu is really, really good. Although he's probably the best card of the month in quite a while.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Victoria Hand or Bullseye was the best in January. What was the best card in February? What the hell came out in February?
Iron Patriot was the season pass.
No, Sam was the season pass.
Sam was then Iron Patriot.
No, Iron Patriot came out in January. He was the season pass.
Oh, he was season pass in January.
I don't remember a single card that came out last month. That can't be a good sign.
Cards.
No.
When did Rocket Group come out?
December.
January.
Rival season.
Was that December? Oh,
December.
Right, yeah.
Rival season.
All right.
Joaquin Torres.
I didn't buy any cards in February. I don't think I bought a single card.
Joaquin, there has to was there just nothing
Joaquin,
good?
Red Wing.
Oh, Red Wing is better than Konshu. Red Wing is like the most underrated card.
Thaddeus Ross.
Yeah. Red Wing is like the most underrated card in the game.
And I don't think I bought a single card last month. I don't think I rolled for any caches. Oh no, I opened one cache. Diamondback. Diamondback's the one I opened.
Apparently there's just been a run of relatively weak spotlight cards and no one's noticed.
Diamondback is the only one I rolled for last season, yeah.
Yeah, Moonstone was January, right?
Yeah, January was
Moonstone's good. Yeah,
January was wildly good.
I didn't miss much last month.
Victoria Hand, Moonstone, and Bullseye were all January.
Yeah, Bullseye was game changer. Me too. Yeah, Diamondback. The only card I got last month was Diamondback. So I don't feel like I missed out.
Very good.
Yes, that's that list that got me to Infinite against Konshu.
It's a really good list.
No problems against Konshu. I finally got to Infinite.
That list just beats the shit out of a lot of things. If you're not answering it,
my God.
And the Bullseye Surfer that I think that one is
Bullseye Surfer.
Yeah, there's a Bullseye Surfer in some deck video or another. The Bullseye Surfer is really, really rough to beat. Oh, yeah, lots of good stuff. All right, let us get to the very last card. I don't think this one's going to take long. Oh, I even have it as a 2/6. I didn't update this shit at all, huh? It's a 2/5. It would be good if it was a 2/6. On reveal, discard the lowest power card from your hand. Remove that card's power from this. You cannot use goblins with this, which I had to explain 7,000 times. Thanks, Second Dinner. You couldn't put that on the card, right? It had to like make me explain it 7 million times. It's awesome. All right. First, Ghost Rider. Fire.
I got the card and I have not used it, and I've barely seen it, so I have zero opinion about it.
I got the card, have not used it. I did see someone accidentally, I think they were playing it in high voltage, and accidentally discarded the Apocalypse with it and had a -20 power, and I won the lane. I think there's interesting design potential behind this in what it can do. I don't think it's... I don't know. I don't think anybody's really figured out the right home for it. I agree. I am sad because I think everybody was talking about, oh, we'll play it with goblins and we'll get that negative power as positive power. And then Glenn just went, no, and kind of shut that down.
Well,
I think that could have been really
that would
cool.
be broken. No, you can't do that.
That would be really cool. That would also
That's
be really
great.
cool.
You can't have a 2/13 that just goes in every deck. Like, that's not a thing. Like, no, that wouldn't be really cool. That'd be really cool the first time you did it, and then when it was every game, every deck, and then someone makes a 2/13 and snaps, and you go, oh, gotta go every game. It's fucking Iron Patriot. It's terrible. No, it's obnoxiously bad design. Got any?
Yeah. I think it could work pretty well with a Konshu.
Yeah.
I mean, you got Gore, you got Iron Man.
It works fine.
Sometimes it just hits Konshu.
Oh, wow. Shanganjor is saying just crazy shit in chat. Saying Silver Samurai does the job better. Yes, I want to play double for the same stats to potentially hit something my opponent doesn't want. That is wonderful. This, I don't know if the Iron Man, Gore, Ghost Rider, Konshu deck works. Yeah. It's so, if you break it down, it requires at least Gore, Konshu, Lady Sif, Blade, Ghost Rider, and probably also Iron Man, right? And then you probably want one more discard card. That's 7 cards. That's your whole deck already.
Yeah.
I don't know. We can, like, I don't see this being great, but 2/5 means it's perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
All good?
I think it's great for free.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. All right. Variants of the week. First up, my Ghost Rider, because Ghost Rider is a 4/5, even though it says 4/4 if you're watching on YouTube. Ghost Rider is a 4/5. I picked the Kim Jacinto version. I love Kim Jacinto art. This is my favorite Ghost Rider. It is amazing. Mrs. Wolf?
I picked the Robbie Reyes one because it's Robbie Reyes, although he deserves his own card and he doesn't have
That's
one.
That's why I didn't pick it. I used this until I got mad. One. He needs one.
I know he needs one, so that's why I picked
Ghost
it.
Rider.
He is the best Ghost Rider.
You give me Maria Wolf, and I'm going to pick it every single time. Gunny, did you also pick this one? Are we on the same page
I did,
here?
Yeah.
Good choice. I think this is the best. I love the flames, like the detail behind how the flames animate as well. Is
that's it. Boom, perfect. You nailed it.
Yep.
Like this card looks so cool animated.
Yep.
Fair. No. All right, let us keep it moving with. Hey, remember to follow Nick the Greek Geek. Nick, pretend you stream again.
Yes, follow me at Nick the Greek Geek. I am streaming all the time. You'll find me on Twitch everywhere. But if you come into my streams, it's crazy. It's fun. I'll probably play your decks, and I'll probably do it terribly. Who knows?
If you go into his stream, you are mostly just going to see his coming soon screen and then his last stream of 3 weeks ago.
Wow.
But should you get lucky enough to find him on, you are truly blessed with genuinely great energy and a great time. You will have a blast. His dog will bark in the background. He will laugh. You will laugh. It will be lovely. Please go follow my friend Nick, the Greek Geek, not the Greek Geek, because he thought his real name was too long and this was somehow better.
One more thing I have to say for Nick, though, is if you follow him on other socials and just in general, if you get in touch with Nick, he has his fingers in everything.
Ew.
So by following him, just like you're going to know what's going on because he helps out so much of the community. He's such a great guy.
That's different.
Helped me build this awesome computer. Like, I don't know, he is a true gem of the Marvel Snap community.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Gunny. I appreciate that.
Nick the Greek gem. Oh, that's not alliterative.
Okay, so this is me. So because I'm not really on socials and I stream with my husband. So our streams are consistent. We do Monday, Wednesdays, and Saturdays, 4:30 Pacific to whenever he's done. And then I do the dinner break. So my husband is a variety streamer. He does Rivals, Bazaar. I don't know what else he's doing right now, but those are things that he's doing at the moment. He's not doing Snap right now. So if you want your Snap content, I'm usually on between 6 and 6:30 Pacific is when I start, and I'll play for about an hour to an hour and a half. So that's the Snap content that you get from me. And as we mentioned before, if you want to get to know me as a real person, or if you just want something nice in your email inbox, a beautiful sunrise photo or something pretty from nature, and a gratitude quote, that's the link to my daily sunrise newsletter. If you're those who are watching live right now on Twitch, it's pinned. It's at the top of the comments on Twitch as well. Thank you, Nick. Appreciate that. So that's the best way to find me is on Twitch through my husband. And yes, we get along super well. And I have to say that being able to stream in this way with my husband is super cool. Actually, ever since we've created a schedule where we kind of stream together on his channel, it's actually really, really worked very well for us. Even though it's still his stream, his channel, but it really does work very well for us. And I know a lot of people, would love to have their partner involved in their streaming this way. And we're really lucky that this works for us.
So I'm going to start with Wolf, then move to you. So I really enjoyed Wolf's Marvel Snap streams. I do not enjoy Rivals. Mr. Pew Pew is not for me. So I will only ever go to Rival streams. I go to Tucker and Super Tech God when they stream Rivals to make fun of them for being bad at the game, and they should play games they're good at instead. However, if you follow Rivals, and I know most of you do, that game is way too big. No one will shut up about it. I keep hearing things about tier lists, and I could not possibly care less about that game. But you do care about that kind of shit. So please do go follow Psychotic Wolf. There's an underscore in there. You will have a blast. I promise. It's one of the best streams for Rivals, which I know because Wolf is one of the best people. Mrs. Wolf is my homie. She's amazing. I literally, when I see Wolf get on, I go, well, I'm not going to watch Pew Pew, much love, but there's always someone streaming Marvel Snap, but I wait for that category change to Marvel Snap, and I click right on over and hang out during the dinner break because I always have a blast. It's wonderful. Hopefully you got this from this episode, because I certainly did. She's brilliant, she's energetic, and she's fun. There is absolutely no reason to not be following. You get Rivals, if that's your jam. You get Snap, and that is your jam because we're like 2 hours into this, so holy shit, if it's not, what are you doing with your life? But please go make sure you follow Mrs. Wolf, twitch.tv/psychotic_wolf, and also check out the Sunrise thing. I can't vouch for it because I literally signed up today. But come on, it's a pretty damn cool idea. Sign up.
Thank you.
Mr. Wolf has been playing a lot of Bazaar a lot lately as well. Mm-hmm. And if you didn't know, that is a game that has now officially released. It was in closed beta for quite a long time, but it's been officially released. And Mrs. Wolf, you spoke earlier about tilting. Sometimes you do just tilt in Marvel Snap. And I have to say from personal experience, Bazaar is a really relaxing game to play. So what you end up doing with it is it's a board building type game that you play through several different rounds, but you're never actually playing an opponent sitting across from you. So you can take as much time in the game as you want to. You can quit halfway through the game, pick it back up the next day and continue playing. That is what I do when I tilt, is I like to play some Bazaar.
Nice. And I will say that my stream is, if you like gambas, we do a ton of gambas, and I'm known for my I sometimes get tilted on stream. There's there's some saltiness on stream a little bit. I'm known for my signature laugh, shall we say. Sometimes there's a little bit of singing, it's a little bit. Check out the clips. It's so funny. All the clips on Wolf's channel are actually 90% of them are me. They're not him. He doesn't get clips for some reason. I don't know why. So I hope to see you. Our community has been really, for those that are here live, I've seen our community in the chat, and it's just been really great to have so much support from the community in the chat. So we just have such an amazing community, and I'm just really honored to have this chance to like interact with the larger Snap community in this way, because I'm not a creator, right? Like I am under my husband's
but you
channel
are
in this way. I know I am, but
like you're a creator.
You can't find me. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
yeah,
but we
can't like, well, you can now. But every morning, right? Yeah, every morning. So I think it's really cool to be able to interact with the Snap community in this way. And I just want to say, like, Glazer, I just really appreciate you so much for what you do. I have become a better player because of you.
Thank you.
Because of the amount of work that you do and how much I've learned from all of your like step by step and everything that you cover. I'm a better player because of you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I do my very best.
Mrs. Wolf, I have to ask, whenever you talk about tilting in your signature laugh, do we get your signature laugh whenever like those crazy situations happen that you can only just laugh at? Is that what you're talking about?
Don't answer that. Go check the stream.
Okay,
you have to check the stream to find out.
Honestly, Gunny, if you just go to my husband's, like if you just click on the link for my husband's Twitch and click on any of those clips, because one of our community members just really enjoys clipping every time I do my signature laugh. So there's a lot of clips of me doing that. So yeah, you definitely will not miss out on that.
I just had to ask because, like, for instance, today I was playing. I can't remember what the location is, but at the end of the game, add a card here for each player, whatever. Like, for instance, I had filled their lane with a Winds of a Tomb, moved a card over there, so they weren't going to get the free card, and all I needed was 2 power. And I got a Hobgoblin, and I was like, I could only laugh. Like, what do you do? Like almost any card in Marvel Snap wins me the game, and I get a Hobgoblin.
And it doesn't go anywhere because
it doesn't go anywhere because I filled it.
Yeah. So we have fun.
Certain tier support on our Patreon come with honor. Thanks. As is tradition, at the end of the podcast, I will read all these names as fast as humanly possible. Thank you to Absolute Shannon, Abigail Giesel, Manager, Brenna, Erigalis, Laby, Inc., I'm Frostman, Hotan, Evidente, Thank Boker, Prime, Ryan, Burke, Ryan Wood, Ketix, Lee, Coy, Kazushi, Archangel, 3K, Black Dahlia, Profos, The Goat Seeker, Hollow, Nightmare, Only Fox Synth, Prodict, Dirty Casual, Mr. Ruffle, Cables, Ginger Prime, Philip Brackers, Haplo, Kenny Loggers, The Danger Zone, The Biz of Black Jeeps, 23 Exorcy, Skippy G, Jessica Gemmel, Slush Death, King of Bros, Great Kazoo, Werewolf, Kevsioto, Ludicrous Clam, Colonel Forbin, Bricks to Click, Rob Silverman, M. Holland, David G. Wingfield, Stephen, Brian Kaufman, Tristan H. Martin, Jason B., Mr. Christary, Matt V., Ren Scorman, John Q., Jim McHugh, Yes Out 8 Saved, One Big Man, Milkman for Real, Skectus, Jack, BG, Quid Pro Joe, Snapchat, Scissors, Do, Models, Monster Supreme, Green Goblin, Unibot, Flan, Fit 6 V, Fuzz, Spectrum X, Hoot, Oculars, Matt H., DJ Mike Hydrix, Note, Flex, Nick, Doug, Greek Geek, Hi Nick, Zodrex, The King of Canada, Denman, Falcon, Foth, Thor, Newman, Jonesy, Two Ties, The Great Lawrence, The Perry King Tucker, and of course, Gunny T, where the T stands for Hi Gunny.
Hello. It doesn't. It stands for thank you for listening so much, and thanks for having me on again, Glazer. It's great to see you, Nick, and it was awesome to meet you, Mrs. Wolf.
Oh, it was such a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me on as a guest.
Peace and love, everybody.